Peace. What's the 441 family? Y'all come on in, check it out, check it out. We on download number 3. Excited to present to you what's the 441. And this download is surviving hip hop / Hollywood, because it all ties together, man. Hollywood. But how y'all doing today, man? It's a beautiful, beautiful time to be alive. We got major transitions in the sky. There's a lot of opportunities in the world. But if you sit around, you won't have any opportunities. So I invite you to challenge yourself today. Do something difficult today. Something that will have you in a better position tomorrow. Like watching What's the 441. Here we dive deep into the dark so that we can expose the truth, put the light on the truth. You know what I'm saying? We want to stop living the American dream. We want to begin living our dream, and we want to become who we already are. And it's a journey to be becoming, but it's doable. You know what I'm saying? Even amongst these times, these 2020 times, very, very chaotic times, very, very fast, rapid, active motion. So we want to pay attention to the details. We want to get better at our execution. Because like you said, downloads come all the time, but we want to put those downloads into our intel. We want to become what we already are. Like I said, man, nothing deep, nothing crazy. But surviving hip hop, this download is deep, and this one is crazy. A lot of stuff I'm about to say right here. Some of y'all probably never even heard the idea of it, so give it some time to rest in your mental, because I know new ideas and new thoughts are difficult to take in sometimes. So the download can be heavy. Sometimes it takes a little time to get the engine involved into the transmutation. But Pluto is here for the transmutation. So let's tap in, man. Let's get right into it. This one is very exciting to me because it affected me very, very much. And I'm a huge musical person. So when it comes to hip-hop and the mainstream and the industry, all those things were some of the closest things to me. So this is a personal topic, and I would love for y'all to join me on this quest, because this is important in today's spiritual war. Spiritual war is always happening. War has been apparent since the beginning of the times, and we think war is physical, but a lot of times war can be spiritual, mental, and physically unseen. So let's break down how music and hip-hop is being controlled and used as a weapon. Next slide. So, die and be a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. They said that in The Dark Knight, and Harvey Dent was saying that to Bruce Wayne about life and how people love you in the beginning because you did something radical, but as they begin to see you for who you really are, or they begin to see you in a different light because of the time frame or whatever, you become somebody different to them. And Jay-Z said this as well, and if he knows like we know, like you know, like she know, like your mama knows, these people are involved in some dark magic, and they're involved in some real deep occulted lifestyles when it comes to Western civilization. And we ain't no stranger to the cult. We invented cults, and we were the ones that had secret societies, and we were the ones that did black magic, and we were the ones that did all these different things. But when it came to the to the West, or the Europeans brought it to the West, and or brought it from the West to the Eastern civilization, they changed and skewed the occultism. They got their hands on the information that made you powerful and strong. Locked those things away in the Vatican. Those scribes, those scrolls, all those ancient texts, all those alien files, all those files are in the Vatican locked away, and they have thus begun to implicate all of the magic, all of the spells onto us on the reverse end, because we all know if there's an upside, there's a downside, there's a left side, there's a right side, there's dualities to this world. So the dualities have been used against us. If you notice that shirt, Jay-Z is in one picture wearing a shirt. He's with Jeezy, and Jeezy is also wearing the same shirt with the same necklace. So they have a lot of spiritual meanings, and I don't want people to get lost in the meaning of one thing when I say it might be good or it might be bad, because life explains to you that the world has duality, and life is a duality. So if you are able to have a good, you're able to have a bad. So there's always two sides to the coin. But when we look at these rappers and these industry people, they're all set up into a occultic and dark magic. And if you notice, you see the devil laying down Jesus Christ as a sacrifice. I think he's actually about to try to have sex with him or something. I can't really remember the story, but some deep little shit on this man's shirt. Them Cuban links, supposedly Cuban links, those are supposed to be representative of the snakes. And the snakes that were involved in the apple and Adam and Eve and all that shit, supposed to give you good luck in the dark world. But these snakes are not the Kundalini. These are the evil spirited snake, and that's what they use as a symbolic representation. You ever wonder why those Cuban links are so popular? And you ever wonder why the rappers, the bigger they get, the bigger their chains get? This is not an accident. These are not what do you call coincidence? You'll see a lot of coincidence in this presentation, but you look deeper, you'll start to connect the dots and understand this is all planned progression for spiritual warfare. Next slide. So the infiltration. You gotta check out Crazy Bone exposes the secret meeting that destroyed our generation. It pretty much tapped into the story where he sat down a bunch of guys from, where are they from? Cleveland, Ohio. And Ohio, we all know that's Serpent Mound, and that's where a lot of the mounds were originally at when it came to the Eastern civilizations. But anyway, they got these young boys in here, real young, had them inside of a meeting and was explaining to them their plans on how the way they was going to use music, hip-hop music exclusively. And they was going to explain how they talked about money, sex, drugs, you know, the same things we hear on the radio all the time. And I think, long story short, it ended up to a fight, and these guys pulled guns on these execs, and these people ran out the studio, blah, blah, blah. I don't know the details, but check it out on YouTube. I found that on the Texas Talk. But on the left, if you see this photo of Judas and the Black Messiah, the movie, where these guys play Fred Hampton's story out in the Black Panther story, and you see my man Lakeith Stanfield in the red circle. He's the infiltration. He's the snitch. He's the intel that allows the CIA to infiltrate the Black Panthers. And you see it, a very, very, very sad story, because these Black Panthers were strong embodiments of Black excellence. And then you had a young black punk came off the street for getting in trouble for stealing and being a larcenist. he was propositioned a deal by the police, which was connected to the CIA, to infiltrate and bring all the information back on this said person. And he had no idea who the person was. Got involved, got connected and attached to the person, but he still had to carry out his duties to the CIA, and eventually led to Fred Hampton's death. And these are true stories and very, very sad situations, because every day, all day, you see people infiltrating our culture. And when I say our culture, I say these things that protect us, and these things that keep us safe, and these things that extenuate our intelligence to others, that those things end up getting infiltrated, broken down from the inside. You can't break things down from the outside. You got to start on the inside. So the infiltration is apparent. You know what I'm saying? That's the beginning. They infiltrated the Eastern civilizations. We were all here as indigenous geniuses, indigenous beings, all on this coast and this east side of the Mediterranean. But the infiltration is how they get in, man. Next slide. So all modern music is made at 440 hertz, including 808 drums. At this hertz, it can cause the 808 to put you in a trance, allowing the music to cause hypnosis to the mind. Ooh, that's some heavy stuff, y'all. If you understand what's going on with that, that's pretty much explaining that the frequency is a chaotic frequency that puts the person into a distractive trance. You ever wonder when you hear music, like a song with a heavy bass drum, you just want to start dancing. You might even stop talking. You might be talking in the middle of the conversation. You're just going to start dancing, twerking, whatever. But those things are on purpose, because it puts you in a trance state of mind, and those are okay when you're dealing with higher powers and higher messages. But these songs are layered with vocal messages that are to cause your demise. They're causing chaos, and they are programming our children, and they're putting our children into the state of understanding where money, sex, drugs, and violence are the keys to life. It's a very, very sad thing, because I can reflect on my past as a young kid. All I looked up to was hip-hop stars and rap stars and music on the TV, because all those things were hypnotic. The beats were banging and hardcore, and the messages were like brash and very, very unseen. So they had a very good recipe to just lure you in with all types of vices, but temptations is what I mean. But if you remember, Kanye was talking about the 808 drum on the Breakfast Club. He kind of explained it. He didn't get into it enough, because he's still locked into the industry, and them people is not playing with him. But he be having his get out moments, and he be looking back like, hey, y'all need to get out of here. So he explained the 808 and why the 808 is so consistently used in hip hop and music nowadays, because it controls the root, and it programs the root. So if you look on the left, you see the 432 tuning at the top, and then you'll see the 440 tuning. You see all the muddled perceptions. You're not able to have a clear perception of what's going on. You're able to just kind of listen to what's on that frequency. So it's pretty much made to drown everything else out, and you to zone in on this song that they want you to hear over and over and over again, because it's going to distract you, for one, and you're going to get paid off of it, for two. But for three, and the most important part, is it programs your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is a delicate tool that allows you to maneuver through this world and through the spirit. So war is being casted upon your spirit on the inside out. You know what I'm saying? The infiltration is deep. Next slide. So the initiation, you need people to carry out these rituals, carry out these songs, to create these songs, to make this demon music, to create the chaos. So you see on this slide, you see a lot of young black kings. You see a lot of young black brothers that are indigenous to this land. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just distracted and tricked into a world and a lifestyle that is not involving their own future safety. So what's what these boys, all these boys got in common, if you're looking at this initiation, excuse me, you see these rings, man, and it's kind of like they got to propose to the world that they're initiated, and everybody else involved that's in this circle, they all will know, like, hey, now, you're an all-star, get the game on, go play. Like, they encourage you to be a demon now. You see Tupac, you see Mo3, Pop Smoke, King Von, P&B Rock, Chico Bean, Young Dolph, Future, Lil Baby, who is that, Young Thug, all these boys, man. They just took a bag, snatched the bag, and they got with the program. Stick to the script. What they say on that movie, Sorry to Bother You. Stick to the script. Sorry to Bother You is a very, very telling story as to how they initiate you. You think they just rabbit people up or people in line trying to get initiated? No, they got different ways to come at you. They already know who to deal with, who they want to be involved into these situations. And because the DNAs and the DEAs, they already done their research of who you connected to. They know who you connected to, but you don't know who you connected to. So a lot of times they'll use that to their advantage, and they'll take away your essence, and they'll use it for their program. Or they'll juice your essence up and use it for your program. You know what I'm saying? And when I say take away your essence or juice it, they're pretty much taking your soul. They're using the things that you create through your vessel as a tool to control. And that's all black magic, dark magic. That's spell magic. And the spell magic has two sides to the coin. So when you utilize it in this sense, it begins to have a distinct look to it. You can see it. Demon Time. You know what I'm saying? King Von, like he all about drill music and all this different toxic energy. It's just not right. And Pop Smokey, what's the music? They drill music too, right? They do that same thing too. Tupac had to come out with if you notice Tupac early in the game, he came out with the conscious rap and he talked about they got me trapped, and he was talking about Brenda got a baby. But then when he came out, he was on some California love, and he was all thugged out. He had the thug life ever since they locked him up. They locked him up because he wasn't trying to get down with the program, but he took the money and he took the oath. So you got to get with this program. You're going to jail. But you know what I'm saying? He got out. He got back with the program. Then you see he killed him. So he got out of the program. But we'll get into that later into the presentation. Next slide, family. Okay, this one. MK Ultra. Hold on, y'all. Let me get some water before I talk about this one. Y'all just look at the slide. See who y'all see. Your favorite family members. Oh, got some water. Man, look at these boys, man. What they doing? What is they doing? MK Ultra mind control. So, breaking down mind control. It's hard to understand how one can be controlled through the mind, but like I was explaining in the previous slides, the music has the frequency and the sound wave to get you into the trance-like vibe. Once they get you in the trance-like vibe, they can put different information into your mind, and you can upload it through your subconscious. So I don't know why these things are connected, but the blonde hair and the colorful hair is connected to the mind control. I think it's like a a shame thing for one, because the blonde is a dumb blonde, so they're kind of trying to put the energy on you like you're a dumb person, number one. But then two, I think that these are indications of what level of mind control that you're involved in. And when you're dealing with the blonde hair in Hollywood, it's all another sign that you got through initiation, and now you're under control of the Hollywood weird experience. So you see all these people. Let's name every one of them we can see. We see Kid Cudi, Andre 3000, G-Eazy, Kanye West, Chris Brown, the most infamous Chris Brown, Tiffany Haddish, who just recently got a Grammy or Oscar or some other shit, Nicki Minaj, Trippie Redd, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Lil Durk, G-Eazy, KM Kelly. No, that's not G-Eazy. Who is that dude? KM Kelly and the other guy, Machine Gun Kelly. I don't know his other dude's name. Frank Ocean, Jaden Smith, Chris Brown with all colors of hair. You know, he been through the ranks. And Soulja Boy. So these are all kids and people. It's not just black people, if you notice. You see G-Eazy and KM Kelly. They take all souls, all bodies, all willing sacrifices. If they have what they're looking for, if you have what they're looking for, they'll invite you. You'll be accepted. If you go through the ranks, you'll get through, and you'll be Black Boule. You'll be Freemasonic. Blah blah blah. It's very very sad. Next slide. So they rank the sellouts into Black Boule. You know what I'm saying? You see my man. he in some type of suit with his little pendants. You know what I'm saying? They become gatekeepers, and they bring more sales to sell out. The more, the better, and it's better for their ranking and the sacrifices. Because if you notice, let's just think about Rick Ross. He came into the game, fat chubby motherfucker, start getting under P Diddy's wing. Already a red flag. He got under P Diddy's ring. Next thing you know, he on songs with Jay-Z, on songs with Jeezy, all these Def Jam managers and artists. And next thing you know, after that, he has his own record label. He's signing people. So when he signs people, that means he's bringing more to the situation. He already done his research on who he should bring, how he should bring them, because he knows who's willing, who's thirsty for the money, who's willing to kill, who's willing to do some gay acts, whatever. So as they expose themselves to Rick Ross finds out if he can sign them or not. He signs them. Meek Mills, Wale, Gunplay, blah blah, all these people to his record label, and that's more fish to add to the pot. You know what I'm saying? So they have rankings, and they have gatekeepers once they get to a point, like Jay-Z and Jeezy and certain people. They get to a point where they are ranked, and they have access to close and open gates. But they better not get out of line, because they still have somebody that they are attached to. And if they act out, they'll get checked. Mob style. Next slide. So what's going on here? You got a bunch of stuff going on here. So let's tackle Get Out. Picture on the bottom right. See my main man Lakeith Stanfield again. He's in the Get Out scene, and the old white lady, the scene where he was at the picnic, the pick-a-nigga orientation, and my man seen the black dude, and he freaked out after the light hit him. And if you remember, in the beginning of the movie, he got snatched up. So it was an indication that the white man was inside of his body, and that was the white lady's old husband. He must have got old, or he couldn't take it, or he wanted to be a black body, whatever. So it gave the indication that he was the white man inside of the black man's body. So they downloading consciousness. They're putting consciousness into artificial intelligence, and the artificial intelligence can be transferred into physical avatars, and you can download the information just like the movie The Matrix right into your psyche, and you can become that person. So if you look at the top, you see Jeezy with this girl. I don't know who this chick is. That's his new wife. Homeboy on the right, though, is her old husband. And I just figured that they doing the same thing to Jeezy that they did to Homeboy and Get Out. Because there's no way that this chick, who used to be married to this country dude for 10, 12 years, wants to now be married to Jeezy. This doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I can be wrong. But it just doesn't make sense, because why? Jeezy, you don't, she ain't that type of person. Jeezy's supposed to be hood, blah, 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 whatever. Next slide, let me show you why they got this going on. Bam, so you have these mules, you have these handlers, you have these agents that are involved in Hollywood, and they control the asset. The asset is the person who's bringing in the money. They're keeping tabs on who's bringing in the money, who they're around, who they're talking to, what they're talking about, and how they're talking about it. These women and these people are attached to agents. And the best way to do it for some dudes is to make them some big booty women, make them some cute faced girls, make them some wide mouth bass that want to give them some ass, you know what I'm saying? Sad, man. They got these boys locked down on these girls, man. You see these girls in the corner, all in the left and the right corner. The Kardashian people. All of these Kardashian girls, man, they get involved with these black men, and they just wreak havoc on their life. You see Tiger with the Jenner. They were supposed to have a baby. I guess he didn't make it through the initiation or through the rankings. They said a better chance is somebody like Travis Scott. He got way more sauce that we can add to the pot. You see Diddy with his murals down at the bottom, Cassie and Laura London. All these people are in place with different people, and they're connected to other important people. And they have the dark witch appeal. They're learning spells. They're learning how to take semen and take hair and take follicles, and they're learning how to put things together to keep them stuck in a spell. They're learning how to sexually seduce men. They're learning how to do all these different things so that they can keep the agency connected. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense, man? I know I'm talking fast. I know I'm moving fast, but this just all makes sense to me, so I'm just blowing through it. But you see how the spiritual warfare is connected? Because the music is how they program us. And in the music, they're teaching us how to live. And in the music, you might lose your religion. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand how the music will take you to another space? And I know it's subtle. It's so subtle to some people. But like, man, music don't control me. Da-da-da-da don't control me. But you remember in the 90s how they put R. Kelly out, and all he talked about was sex. Excuse me. All he talked about was sex in his music. And then all these 90s babies and 80s babies were growing up. All they was talking about and having was sex. And then after that, you had musicians like Trey Songz and Chris Brown. They turned, and Joe, or before that, yes, Jodeci and all that, but all these different successions of R&B was all about raunchy, lower level sexual acts. So you see how the future got muddled into this sex crazed world. In the beginning, music used to be about love, and music used to be about holding your wife's hand and crying together and all these different things. But the agenda was pushed onto us through the music. And the agenda has a lot of black boys locked up because they think drilling is the way to go. Or they think that selling weed is the way to go, selling crack is the way to go, selling drugs is the way to go, popping pills is the way to go, drinking lean and syrup is the way to go, Molly Percocet is the way to go. You see how all this shit is connected to spiritual warfare? It's pretty disgusting. Definitely gonna protect and guard my kids from this, because this ain't something to be taken light. I say this ain't something to be taken light because I went to prison at an early age, and I think going to prison was me being connected to music that allowed drama and thought that drama was safe and gangbanging was safe and things that were in the streets were cool. And I had to learn about what was going on and get involved with what was going on in the streets, and I ended up in jail on some dumb shit. So I understand how the music affects the scenarios through a kid's life, because these kids are coming up trying to find somebody, and what looks cooler than somebody on TV with a bunch of cars and a bunch of money and tattoos and talking fast and talking fly. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z gonna be your hero. My son loves Travis Scott. Travis Scott is their hero. Like, I'm trying to explain to him that he's just a character. My son is 4 years old. He arguing with me like, no, nigga, you ain't gonna tell me that about my hero. Nope. I don't believe you. Nope. It's the way we have been programmed. Next slide. So, this is the last slide, actually, family. But the Hangman, when these men don't do what their handler told them to do, or when these handlers find out that they doing something that goes against the society or the code, these men get put into jail. And if they don't act right further, they just get killed. So these boys get tortured in jail. Some of these boys get on some, what's the movie called? Us, by Chasing Peele, how he had the people on the upper level acting out the same thing as the people on the lower level, and because they was tethered together. And pretty much they're doing these things to them people. They're locking these rappers up. Kodak Black, Tupac, I can go on and on and on and on and on. I don't even want to keep talking about it. But T.I., Lil Kim, like, they put these rappers into jail, and they program them. They're programming them. They're either cloning them, they're updating them, and they're putting their psyche onto a level where they need to be so that they can perform the due diligence of their masters. So if you notice, T.I. got locked up for gun trafficking. So my idea of what happened is he did not want to do what he was supposed to do. So they threatened him. They locked him up. They put him under a mind control experiment. If you notice, when these rappers and these musicians or these Hollywood people get in trouble, they go to jail for a year and a day if they got to do any time. A year and a day is the time frame, because for whatever, Lil Wayne did the same thing, Lil Kim did the same thing. It's something about that year and a day where You have time for them to be programmed or broken down or put into this place or this level of vulnerability where they're willing to give in and say, "Hey, well, I'll just do whatever you want me to do." Or number two, they can be getting um, cloned, just plain and simple. They can be getting their information, their intellect, their DNA, all their stuff transferred and made into a mold of a person that is going to now walk out of the fake jail and become Kodak Black for the rest of the time. That's why you see these people, when they come out of jail, they either fat or bloated or they just plain look different. Kevin Gates, you know what I'm saying? These people go to jail and they get updated and cloned and upgraded and changed over into some type of superhuman, whatever. I don't know what goes on. But they come out different. And if they don't come out, they stay in there and they get tortured forever because they don't want to do what they're told or they violated a code. And then ultimately, if they don't do that, they get killed. And rest in peace to my brother Nip. But if you see this picture, it's a very telling picture. He took this picture, and maybe a month or two later, he was killed. And by the time they took this picture, they already knew what was going to happen with him. They knew he was going to be a sacrifice for Hollywood. If you see Homegirl Laura London on the white horse, it's just like this Behold a Pale Horse cover. She's on the Pegasus, and he's not on the horse, but he's holding the horse with a noose. And you see the other man down at the bottom, they're rotating down in hell, stuck in the tribulations, stuck in the grind. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he knew he had strong enemies, because they were not going to let him go. And he had got involved with some people and some things that were very, very heavy. And it was inevitable for him to get away from that situation. And they ultimately assassinated that man. And it's just a sad situation. We see so many of these artists and so many of these musicians deal with the same script over and over again. If they're not talking about money, sex, and drugs, you got to get them off the script. Just stick to the script. And it's just apparent how hip-hop and these people in Hollywood are putting together plans to keep you from your greatness. And it's something we need to be aware of. We want to remain vigilant with our actions when it comes to music. You got to know that these people are just characters and they're agents. They're just involved in MK Ultra, where we at. MK Ultra mind control, and a lot of these people are dealing with psychotic breakdowns, depression. They kill themselves. A lot of Hollywood people kill themselves. A lot of Hollywood people are depressed, and you can see it on their face. They have that look on their face like this. And let me see if I can highlight my man. But it looks like this. You see how his eyes are all shaped? Like, that's worry. That's stress. Those people are into a lot of mess. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bad look. But your favorite artists, man, make some of the greatest music. A lot of these people are sold, and some of them don't even know how to get out. Some of them are just going with the flow. Some of them love it. Some of them have learned to love it. There's a whole lot of differences going on and involved in how, why, and everybody's opinion on it. But the reason why is all apparent, is to get you into a function where you're worshiping something outside of yourself. You remember the Travis Scott situation, Astro World, all them people died. You think that was accidental? He got on FaceTime, fake crying about what he think, and this, that, and the third, man. These things happen all the time. Pearl Jam had happened before. They're in Hollywood. Diddy had happened before. He in Hollywood. Those same exact scripts happened before. And it's not a coincidence. You just have to remember that they're sticking to a script. It goes all the way down to sports. It goes into politics. Politics, they sticking to a script. These presidents do the same thing over and over again. They infiltrate over and over again, and they involve themselves with the minions of the world. And you remember how these rappers get invited to the White House? You think that's all a good look, a gesture to be like, hey, y'all kids come on over to the White House? No, they coming in, let them know, hey, check in, y'all make sure y'all on y'all script, y'all good, everything straight. All right, I'm watching y'all. And if y'all doing really good, I tell them people I like you. Give you a shout out. Like that's the way all this stuff works, man. I want y'all to understand that if you don't do what they say, if you don't stay with the agents, you get slain, you get put in jail, you get put away. Because they can't have you on their program no more. But they can't have you out there in the street explaining what's going on with the program. So they just get rid of you. It's very, very simple explanation. A lot of people won't understand it. A lot of people won't even agree with it. A lot of people say that this is a crazy, crazy conspiracy theory. I get it. It's heavy, man. It's very heavy. You don't want to know that your favorite rapper sold out to sell you out. You don't want to know that. You know what I'm saying? But this is the end of the lecture. I appreciate everyone who stayed to the end, who were kind enough to share, like, and subscribe, to even donate to our experience. You know what I'm saying? In 33rd Eye, we travel deep into the astrals, dark dive, and we shed light on occult, on hidden truth. We want to expose the hidden truth, the things that people don't want to talk about, the things that make you uncomfortable, the things that make me uncomfortable. I want to get into those things. Y'all tap in the comments, let me know. Send me an email, send me a DM. Let me know what y'all think about this download. Should I put more writing in my lectures? Should I put more pictures in my lectures? Should I add some videos? You know what I'm saying? Whatever we need to do to make this experience more entertaining but educational at the same, because we got to get these downloads. These things are important and imperative to our kids' future. You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings. Love y'all.